Consistently lies, and Israel's defenders consistently lie because they don't have the facts on the ground, and they certainly don't have the moral argument. This is a very inhumane and unjust and immoral and illegal genocide. And that's not just me saying that. That's countless genocide experts. That's, Zionists who have been saying that. The Israeli Jewish Human Rights Organization, B'Tselem, says it's a genocide. Physicians for Human Rights says it's a genocide. All of these Israeli organizations say it's a genocide. And Shabbos, I just watched the panel with you, and you lied through your teeth the entire time. You even said, fact check me. Pierce asked you if the proportion of children killed was higher in Gaza than it was in other wars. And you said that it was as high in other wars. And you named the Syrian Civil War, Vietnam, and Korea. Unfortunately, the stats don't back you up. And the proportion of children killed in all of those wars was lower. I can go over the stats with you, but was lower than the proportion of children killed in Gaza.
Have you ever seen a more petulant child? His body language screams, I don't have to take this. I don't have to listen to this. I know what I know, and I'm right. You know why? Because my mommy and daddy told me I'm right. He's a sawed-off little prick. He has never properly had his ass kicked. That's why he acts that way. Lives in a very insulated environment. I mean, for God's sake, the guy's name is Shabbos. The only way you could get away with a name like that, and it ain't good Shabbos, it's bad Shabbos, if you get the reference. He is the embodiment of all of those type of, as I mentioned, emasculated, angry, resentful, sort of effeminate men that want to prove how tough they are by how intellectually strong they perceive themselves to be. And that's not even getting into the Zionist ethnic, cultural, religious, and social superiority complex that runs through their veins. Jen has pointed out time and again, now listen, I'm pretty white, but I'm not as white as him. I'm not allergic to the sun. And even though this is a person who insists that he is native to Israel, this is a person who clearly could not survive in the desert, especially if he's out in the sun too often. Let's just be real. But as you can see, he's a very unhappy little boy right now because his real mommy, who is owning his ass, is teaching him a lesson that his biological mommy never taught him about the tenements of Judaism instead of Zionism.
So we have an active genocide going on. It is actually illegal for the United States to support this genocide. It violates the Leahy Law. It violates the Foreign Assistance Act. It is a threat to every living person. I don't speak out because this has a dangerous effect on Jews. It does have a dangerous effect on Jews. I speak out because I believe that Palestinians are human beings with human rights. I also speak out because Israel doesn't get to speak for all Jews. But the irony is that for all the people like you who talk about Jewish safety, you are making Jews less safe. Israel is making Jews less safe. AIPAC is making Jews less safe. The ADL is making Jews less safe. And you're engaging in the anti-Semitic trope of equating Jewishness with Zionism.
The one thing I'm surprised at is that I didn't watch the entire interview. I am going to guess that he was constantly cutting her off, and Piers told him, knock it off or I'm kicking you off. So that's why he's sitting there and taking it. And boy, was she ready. She knew exactly how she was going to nail his ass to the wall. And keep in mind, guys, this isn't about Katie nailing Shabbos to the wall. This is about nailing all Zionists to the wall. This is a true Jew, if there ever was. She's a mensch. To me, if I ever learned a Yiddish word in my life that I like more than any other, it's mensch. And if you don't know what that is, it means a good person. Katie Halper is a good person who uses her platform for absolute good.
Every time that you claim that all Jews have to be Zionists or that it's anti-Semitic to be anti-Zionist, you are leaning into that dual loyalty trope, which claims that all Jews are a monolith and we all support Israel. And again, when you're live streaming a genocide that the entire world sees, and you're saying that this is for the sake of Jews, I don't know how that's good for the Jews.
There's no deliberate policy of starvation when it comes to Israel's policy vis-a-vis aid into Gaza.
If you guys remember this guy's name, I don't remember it. Obviously, I know the entire panel except for this gentleman. If anybody has this guy's name, again, you got Peter Beinhardt on the end, you got Katie in the middle, Shabbos left, Piers all the way to the left. Whoever this probably Israeli guy who is talking square out of his ass, saying that there is no starvation, so sticking with the Netanyahu talking point that, no, we're not really doing it, and even if we are, it's Hamas's fault that they're not getting their food. And Katie's eyes just go pop, as I would imagine everybody else's would as well. I know mine did. I can't imagine why somebody would bullshit their way through something like this. But hey, he looks like he's doing all right for himself financially. Heck, as we said, a lot of people are willing to lie if they're going to get paid, no matter how grotesque it is.
We can argue about.
Well, there was a blockade for 3 months. I mean, that's a deliberate policy of starvation.
I mean, like I said, if Piers Morgan, who, as we have shown in clips, was fully on board with Israel maybe a year ago, but has evolved and is now calling you out. I mean, if you're getting owned by Piers, man, just pack up your fucking tents and just go home, because you're just lost.
And they said they were going to let in no food. They said it out loud. That's why genocide scholars.
Literally, that's the epitome.
Israel was trying to apply pressure onto Hamas, which obviously
by starving the civilian population. That's a war crime.
Saying what I need to say, then
it is a war crime. It's terrorism. Okay.
Okay. Now, when Israel reopened the aid, they had set up the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation system, in order to prevent Hamas from receiving that aid or stealing that aid. And we know that it was successful because one of Hamas's key demands in the negotiations over a ceasefire was that GHF be dismantled. Why would they want GHF to be dismantled? It's another method for bringing aid into Gaza. If they really care about aid in Gaza, why do they want
How many people have been killed trying to get food from GHF? How many people have been shot and killed?
I don't know how many people have been, and how do you know how many people have been killed?
We know that over 1,000 people have been killed as they are in these big lines trying to get food, right?
1,000 people, 1,000 people, just mostly women and children, have been assassinated by the IDF seeking food. I don't know how many people. Who cares? But what if 1,000 Israelis were assassinated? They would use the full weight of their media machine to convince the entire world that they must bow at the altar of Israel and the Zionist movement. As we said, it's a genocidal cult, and we must sever ties with them forever. And the more these types of clips appear, and the more that people like Katie expose these individuals the way that she does. Guys, does anyone in the chat know the name of this guy? Please, somebody has to know. We've got over 300 people here. Please tell me someone knows this guy's name. But credit where credit is due. On the one hand, Katie talks it, and then Katie allows them to hang themselves politically. Maybe not the other way, but it is what it is.
My question for you is, how many have Israel killed of the 1,000 plus who've died?
I don't know how many were killed by Israel. I don't know how many were killed by Hamas. But there is documented evidence of Palestinians in Gaza saying that Hamas was shooting at them. And Israel has acknowledged shooting to keep people away. I don't know if you've seen some of these videos, but you've got groups of a handful of soldiers, and you've got thousands of people coming at them. That puts them in danger, in a clear danger. And they're shooting warning shots. They're shooting at their legs. How many were killed by Israeli soldiers? Maybe they should have
more than 4 distribution sites. Maybe they should.
The idea that you're going to suggest that these shooters were shooting at the feet of people that they assassinated. How fucking bad of a shot do you have to be to end up hitting them in the head or in the torso and killing them? The most moral army in the world. The most efficient. Thank you, Dubs. Shout out to Dubs. And I love that profile pic. Benjamin Mollhem. So that's who this douchebag is. Or as Jean-Claude says, Benjamin. It's Benjamin Mollhem. Thank you, Jean-Claude. Why are you shooting at all? It's pathetic.
Should have more than 4 distribution sites. You don't think that's a trap?
It takes a while
for,
to set up a distribution
unsafety?
site. I don't know how easy it is for you sitting in the chair wherever you're sitting in the United States to set up a distribution site.
Well, then
but it's
maybe
not
they
easy
should have
to
used
do.
established distribution instead of
They did.
an
There was
organization
aid
that
continued.
has
Aid
no
has-
experience. And that why did the person resign before it started? Why did the guy who was supposed to
You're
be the head
just
of it
throwing out
resign?
questions that have absolutely nothing to do with the topic at hand. Israel has
No, it
continued
has everything to do with
aid
it.
into Gaza. Hamas is stealing from the UN, is stealing from the other international aid groups, but not from GHF, which is why Hamas wants GHF dismantled.
No, 2 Israeli officials
Benjamin,
have admitted that
Benjamin,
there's
let me
no
ask
evidence
Benjamin-
of
let me ask
Hamas
Benjamin-
doing that, by the way. And 170
let me ask Benjamin.
NGOs and aid organizations have said the GHF needs to be dismantled. What's their ulterior
Yeah,
motive?
I think it's been a complete shambles. I think it's been a complete shambles. But Benjamin, do you believe that any Palestinian children are severely hungry?
It would appear to be the case, yes. I see the same image as you do, and it's heartbreaking. But we have to ask ourselves, who's at fault for that?
Israel.
Who?
Israel. And that's it. Israel. No one else. It's not Hamas. It is partially us. But in the end, this is Israel. This is not Netanyahu. This is not Gavir. This is a genocidal apartheid state that needs to be lanced like a boil, as Jen has said repeatedly. And when spokespeople like Katie, who is a New York Jew through and through, and does not take any of this shit, and can really call these guys out, and talk about holding her own amongst 4 other men. She dominated this panel, dominated it. The pissant look on Shabbos's face. I think he's just stunned. Like he didn't know what to say. Because he knows that if he comes for Katie, he's going to get boxed into a corner with an uppercut and a hook, and he's out for the count. I have been following Katie. I've known Katie. I've known Katie for I've known Katie for over 8 years. And she has always used her platform to spotlight the most important people fighting on the front lines of the most important issues. I just love the way she handles herself. She does a fan-fucking-tastic job. As good as anybody. And not just what I would consider left politics. She's just good at politics, period. She's as honest as the day is long. And I wish there were more people like her. I'll tell you this much. I highly doubt that there is another Zionist stupid enough, although they are pretty stupid, so it's not like it's not possible. But I would be very surprised if there is another Zionist stupid enough to sit on a panel with her and know exactly what's coming their way if they even attempt to get in her way. Shabbos can't talk, and Benjamin doesn't even know how to talk. trips over his own words because he knows that when he fucks up, Katie is going to yank the rug out from under him and he's going to fall and split his head, which is exactly what happened. Oh, you're okay with them shooting these innocent people that, You could tell they're back on their heels saying, I don't know if she prepared for this, if she prepped in any way. And yes, man, with Shabbos is a well-paid member of Prager University. Didn't the Trump administration I know Dennis Prager has tried to make his university an official university for the longest time. But wasn't there an attempt to legitimize Prager University as a real university? I mean, totally, if you can make Trump University a university, you could totally make it for Prager U too. They get a lot of money, just like all the other universities. Although I will say that you have there's a lot of commonality between the type of money that some of these schools get and then comparatively speaking to what a fake university is ultimately able to get. I just hope that at some point, these guys are not going to be able to find any jobs. Who the hell would hire them? They've put themselves out there for the entire world to see. Shabbos, Ben-Amin. I mean, as we've mentioned before, Peter Beinhardt, who does not have anything, does not talk in this particular clip, but despite the fact that he had been or has been a liberal Zionist for many years, he has been very outspoken about the genocide in Gaza and has been from pretty much the very beginning. So credit to him where it's due. There are those who do evolve in the right way. But then there are those who don't. Bravo, Katie. We love you.